Peace. My name is Professor Jerry Denson. I'm a martial arts instructor, and I've been involved in the martial arts for over 40 years. Today, I'd like to invite you into my home to share with you some information that I think is very vital. Sometimes I reflect on my childhood, and I think about things that I've learned. I think about the messages I received. And nowadays I also think about the nonverbal messages. Because we have a lot going on in this world, and I believe there's so many problems. It's because we've been tricked, as Brother Malcolm used to say. I love reading. Here's a book. It's called Brainwashed by Tom Burrell. And Mr. Burrell brings out a lot of points about what the essence of brainwashing is. And that leads me back to the word propaganda. Propaganda is the art and science of basically molding people's attitudes. The purpose of propaganda is to get you to act without previous thought. Now I'll go back to my childhood and share some things with you. And I'd just like to say this. I don't want to say anything or do anything that would insult anyone. My only purpose is to give up the truth. Some people can't stand the truth, but that's not my problem. In order to get better at what we're doing in life, we need to accept the truth, no matter where it comes from. I remember as a child walking through the house, and when you're small, when you're young, you don't really have any critical thinking skills. You know, you listen to your parents, they tell you what they want you to know. Most of the time you do it, sometimes you don't. And I remember at one point, there was a picture of Jesus hanging on the wall. Now Jesus wasn't just in my home. Jesus was in a lot of the homes in the neighborhood of that particular picture. And as Brother Burrell has stated, let's read something to you. Brandishing Jesus white, the image of a white Jesus, is one of the clearest examples of the power of propaganda. Worshipping a blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus reinforced the concept of black inferiority. Now, I'm not bringing this up because I'm a racist or anything, because I'm not a racist, because my mother didn't teach me that way. And none of us should be racist. But because of the negative propaganda in this country and abroad, we're making decisions not understanding that they're not our decisions. So, as a child, I learned to respect Jesus, to pray to Jesus. And I know after every meal we would say, "Thank you, Jesus." So I never thought about that. You know, I just did what my mother did, what she taught us. So as years went by, and I began to do a little study on my own, and I started reading the Bible, And I found there was some conflicting information because the Bible was giving me a different view of Jesus. The way he looked, his skin color, his hair fabric. And I began to think. So as years went on, and as I said before, Jesus was in every house. The white Jesus. But as I studied more, I found out that that was part of the white supremacists' major campaign against people of color. It was a major campaign. And their ability to make us feel inferior didn't just work on us. It worked on white folks also. And I'm saying this, I believe that God created all of us to be as one people, not to be prejudiced, especially not to judge people according to their skin color or what they look like. Because I do believe that there's a day of judgment, and on that day, it's not going to matter what you look like. But what's going to matter is what's in your heart, what's in your mind. You know, if you decide you want to go out and marry someone that have a different skin color than yourself, then you do that. But don't get caught up in the old trap, the old brainwashing scheme of them and us. There's no such thing as them and us. There's only one human family. There's no race. And as someone once said, race is only what it started out to be, a contest. Someone came along and politicized the words. So now people are saying you're from a different race. So that's part of the propaganda. That's part of the lies. And it's caused a lot of problems in this country and abroad. We can't give women the respect they deserve because of negative propaganda. Someone said that Eve was the cause of all the woes in the world. So now every woman is considered some type of evil entity. Women don't get the respect they deserve because we don't get the respect we deserve. We can't give ourselves the respect we deserve because we don't give up the right information. We don't seek the right information. That's why we have a big problem in this country. Donald Trump said it was his idea to make this country great again. But I ask you this, has this country ever been great? What makes a country great? Is this its economic development? Its technology? That has nothing to do with it. If your character isn't morally together, then there's a problem. The only way this country can ever be great is to truly treat everybody with equality and with respect. And if we can't do that, there's no greatness. All we're doing is following illusions that's running around in our heads. See? So that brings us to the point of critical thinking. And thinking critically means that we think deeply and intensely, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said. So we have to think deeply in a way that we are objective in our thinking, not subjective. Because the more subjective we become in our thinking, the more we hold on to the prejudice and the illusions of our minds. No matter how much you learn academically, if you don't understand the importance of what's right what's good, you're lost. Talking to all the young folks now. You need to follow right examples. And that's the responsibility of adults to show you the right way. Think about what I'm saying. Hello again. African American quotations. There's a lot of brilliant things that have come out of the minds of African Americans. And even though there's a lot of propaganda to promote how inferior we are, it's not true. Here's something about Paul Laurence Dunbar. He was a poet. We wear the mask that grins and lies. We wear the mask that grins and lies. What did he mean by that? All we have to do is think. Many of us go through our lives wearing a mask, pretending to be something other than who we really are. And we hold on to that mask until we accept the fact that hypocrisy isn't the best road to take. Right now, we have a lot of young men killing one another in the streets because they wear a mask. They wear the mask of gangsterism, of hardness, because they've been taught that in order to be an OG or a real G, you have to kill somebody. That's what they've been taught. And it's a shame that when I look at myself, I'm 7 times more likely to go to prison than my white counterpart, because I have no understanding of who I am. So the only way to get rid of that mask, stop faking, is to accept the truth about yourself. But you must first learn about who you are. First, educating his children. I remember watching a documentary on the Ku Klux Klan. And there was a small child, a white child. And as the adults shouted, "Nigger, nigger," the little boy was also shouting, "Nigger, nigger." So I said to myself, what we're seeing is a fine example of perpetuation of ignorance. So I'm quite sure you'll grow up doing the same thing and teaching other people. So if our kids are to become educated, we can't allow them to follow uneducated adults, because that's the biggest problem. Knowledge is important. The slave master is not going to give you knowledge of who you are. You must take time to find that out. And once you find out about your own self-knowledge, you'll understand that this world would be a better place if people showed more kindness. Self-defense is something I got involved in many years ago because in my neighborhood there was always some type of conflict, physical conflict going on. And you needed to know how to defend yourself to survive. But as life went on, I understand now that self-defense entails a lot more than what's physical. Because we have to understand how to defend ourselves against the negative propaganda and the lies and half-truths that have been pushed in our heads. And as Maya Angelou once said, we have to take a day to heal. We have to heal from the lies that we tell ourselves and from the lies that's been told to us. So if you truly want America to be great, you have to be willing to accept the truth and think about all these things that people tell us. We just accept it without questioning it. Some of our kids grow up because the parents say things, but the parents show them differently in behavior. So now they use the term called toxic parents. Toxic parents raise toxic children. Toxic children raise more toxic children. And that's how the society becomes so toxic, so poisoned, so messed up. I believe that if we have an opportunity to teach, or to have a platform, we should use that platform to raise the consciousness of people. If you're a singer, you shouldn't just be singing anything. You should be singing or saying words that would respond to the consciousness and the positive side of the people. If you're a rapper, your rap shouldn't be about hanging in the club and drinking alcohol. It should be about getting young folks to think better. Because thinking better is a skill. I want you to think about that. Right now I'm going to just take a break. Please. Deadly Persuasion. Why Women and Girls Must Fight the Addictive Power of Advertising. Book written by Gene Kilburn. Again, in retrospect, when I was a child, I did attempt to smoke cigarettes. I got a little older. I attempted to drink alcohol. But thank God none of it set right with me. So I didn't do it anymore. But I am thinking about all the children who smoke. All the children who drink alcohol. And all the adults who lead the way for children to become addicts. And I said previously that if we really want this country to be great, everybody needs respect. Everybody. According to Ms. Kilborn's book, the industry targets children. 14 to 24 age group. They target children. The base of our business is the high school students. The high school students. And right now today there are certain areas right here in Miami, Florida. If you drive by, you'll find that there's a school not too far away from the billboard with negative advertising. Very close to the school. We have children coming to school early in the morning, drunk, smelling like alcohol. Who's to blame for that? Well, for one thing, we have parents who are addicted to alcohol. And we don't just put it on the advertisers because it's their job to make you think it's something that's going to make you look cool. But what about the parents? The parents are victims also. And don't think for 1 minute because they tell you that they're grown and they can do what they want to do that they're okay with that. No, they're in living hell. There is something wrong with targeting children for cigarette smoking, for alcoholism. Something wrong with that. And if we want to make this country better, we need to take some of that money and put it into that. Basically, we live in a toxic culture, and what we need to do to make this toxic culture better is to give it better information, better knowledge. Because as long as we continue to do what we're doing, we're going to continue to get the same thing. And we got violence. That's because a lot of our young folks, they don't understand who they are. They're pretending to be men. And their self-esteem is so fragile, it's about as shallow as an eggshell. But I'm saying to the young folks, stay away from guns, stay away from cigarettes, stay away from alcohol. Stop wearing that mask as we talked about before. If you're not a gangster, stop trying to be one. Because in order to be a real gangster, you have to be someone who just runs away from your true human nature. And you become more than a beast. For those of you who are out there targeting Jewish people are human too. We need to stop that. Because violence only begets violence. And don't believe for 1 minute that the thing that goes on in this country isn't because someone has done something previous to that. And now people are getting revenge and doing things, and we call them terrorists. But that's a word we can use, but most people don't understand it. We have terrorism right here in this country. And not every police officer is a terrorist, but too many of them are. Too many of them are fueled by their own hatred and racism. If you want to make this country better, make this culture better. remember as a child growing up, I would watch a lot of television. And one of the shows that I remember the most was Tarzan. And we're still on propaganda. Tarzan was an illiterate white man who swung through the trees making unintelligent sounds. And he would jump down into a village of Africans and beat up the whole village. The most ignorant white man you can find jumps down into a village of all these people and conquer them, beat them up. So that was a message in that, to let us know that no matter how ignorant they become, or their behavior is, we were still inferior. We couldn't mount to that. We couldn't equal to that. We need to start examining what people are trying to teach us. If we don't, we're going to end up being our own oppressors. That's what we are. And if you continue to be your own oppressor, then you're going to be the cause of your own downfall. Leave the gangs alone, because the gangs are not going to help you when you end up in jail. And you can notice, for every gang member that goes to jail, all you have to do is ask one of them, how many of your gang members write you letters? Not going to be too many, because many of the gang members are illiterates. They don't know how to read or write. Not all of them, but many of them. And you end up sitting in jail all by yourself, waiting on your buddies to come. And it never happens. So you need to come from under that illusion. You need to come from under that. It's not going to work. The education is important.